Welcome back to our channel. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning here, and we have so much to unpack about the absolute madness happening in Los Angeles right now. Grab your coffee because we are diving deep into the emotional wreckage of the Logan family today. Brooke Logan stands before the massive gilded mirror in her bedroom, and she just stares at the reflection staring back at her. The glass is perfectly polished, but the woman looking back is fractured into a million little pieces of guilt and regret and sheer exhaustion. She looks at the lines around her eyes and she thinks about every single time she has ever cried over a man or a company or a scandal. And it just makes her so angry because why is she doing this to her own daughter when she knows exactly how much it hurts to be pushed away by the people you love? Her mind is racing a million miles a minute as she grips the edges of the marble vanity so tightly her knuckles are turning completely white. The silence in the mansion is absolutely deafening. It is the kind of silence that eats you alive from the inside out because it is a silence she created with her own two hands. Hope is gone. Liam is gone. Little baby Beth is gone. The guest room where they were staying is completely empty, and the toys are packed away, and the laughter that used to echo through the halls has been replaced by this suffocating, heavy, quiet. What kind of mother does that? Who kicks their own child out of their home over a dress, over a fashion label? She is looking in that mirror and finally seeing the truth that we have all been screaming at our television screens for weeks now. The sheer hypocrisy of her actions is washing over her like a freezing cold tidal wave. She remembers Katie. Oh, yes, she remembers exactly what she did to her own sister, Katie, all those years ago when she decided that Bill Spencer was the man she just had to have. She betrayed Katie in the worst possible way, sneaking around and stealing her sister's husband and shattering the Logan family into jagged little pieces just because she wanted to follow her heart and satisfy her own selfish desires. She did something truly unforgivable for a man. She blew up her sister's entire life for a romance. And now she is punishing Hope for what? For a career choice. Hope didn't steal a husband. Hope didn't ruin a marriage. Hope just wanted to step out of the suffocating shadow of Forrester Creations and make a name for herself at House of Logan alongside her Aunt Katie. And for that, Brooke treated her like an absolute criminal. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It never made sense, and Brooke is finally realizing just how insane she has been acting. The guilt is physically making her sick to her stomach as she leans closer to the glass and looks deeply into her own tear-filled eyes. She can still hear the sound of the front door slamming shut when she evicted them. She can still see the absolute devastation in Hope's eyes when she told her to pack up her family and get off her property because she couldn't stand the sight of a traitor. Hope, her sweet, ambitious daughter who just wanted her mother to be proud of her for creating a successful fashion line. Liam standing there trying to be the voice of reason, trying to stubbornly believe that Brooke would come around and see things Hope's way, because Liam always tries to see the best in people, even when they are acting like monsters. But Brooke wouldn't listen because Brooke never listens when she is on one of her self-righteous crusades to protect the Forrester legacy. She let her selfish desire to control every single narrative dictate her actions, and she cruelly, heartlessly kicked her own flesh and blood out onto the street. Well, not the street, obviously, since they went to the Spencer estate, but the emotional damage is exactly the same. Is loyalty to Ridge Forrester really worth losing her daughter? That is the question echoing in Brooke's mind as the tears finally start to spill over her eyelashes and run down her cheeks. Ridge. It always comes back to Ridge, doesn't it? She wanted to be co-CEO with him so badly. She wanted to sit on the Forrester throne and rule the fashion world together and prove to the ghost of Stephanie Forrester that she finally belonged. But Ridge chose Steffi. Ridge always chooses the Forrester legacy first, and Brooke just accepted it, bending over backward to prove her loyalty to a family that still treats her like an outsider half the time. She sacrificed her relationship with Hope to prove to Ridge that she is a loyal Forrester wife, but Hope is her daughter. Hope is the child she shares with Deacon Sharp. a child born from scandal, but raised with so much incredible love and devotion. How could she put Forrester creations above Hope? How could she let Steffi's endless demands and Ridge's impossible expectations turn her into a woman who kicks her own child out of her house? Speaking of the Spencer estate, Brooke's stomach turns violently at the thought of Bill and Katie playing house with Hope and Liam right now. Bill Spencer, the man she once blew up her sister's life for, is now the one offering sanctuary to her evicted daughter. Bill is the one bankrolling Hope's dreams, while Brooke is the one trying to crush them into dust. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a pair of fabric shears. Brooke knows Katie is over there right now telling Hope that her mother is being completely unreasonable and toxic. And the worst part, the absolute worst part that is making Brooke sob openly into the empty bedroom, Katie is right. Katie is 100% right about everything. Brooke should be celebrating Hope's massive success. She should have been in the front row of that Logan runway show cheering for her daughter instead of standing there looking like she just swallowed a lemon and plotting her revenge. She let her massive, fragile ego turn her into the villain of Hope's story. It hits her all at once in a moment of pure, unadulterated awakening. The kind of epiphany that makes your knees weak and forces you to sit down on the edge of the bed. Brooke realizes that a mother's love has to be unconditional. It cannot be tied to what logo is stitched into the back of a dress or what building someone works in. It cannot be dependent on whether Hope is wearing Forrester couture or Logan ready to wear. Motherhood is infinitely bigger than fashion. It is bigger than Ridge's ego. It is bigger than Steffi's relentless vendettas against anyone who crosses her path. Brooke looks at her hands and realizes life is just too short to spend it estranged from your children over corporate politics. She cannot lose hope. She simply cannot survive in this massive empty mansion knowing her daughter thinks she hates her. The pride has to go. The ego has to die today. She has to fix this before the crack in the Logan family foundation becomes a massive, unfixable sinkhole that swallows them all whole. She doesn't even bother to touch up her makeup. She doesn't care if her mascara is smudged from the tears or if her hair is a little messy. Brooke grabs her keys and practically runs out the front door, leaving it unlocked because she is in such a frantic rush. The drive to the Spencer estate is an absolute blur of palm trees and Pacific Coast Highway traffic. Her hands are gripping the steering wheel so tightly, her knuckles are white, and her heart is hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. Her mind is racing a million miles a minute trying to figure out what she is going to say when she gets there. How do you apologize for kicking your daughter and granddaughter out of their home? How do you look your sister in the eye and admit that she is a better aunt than you are a mother right now? It is terrifying. Brooke is absolutely terrified of the rejection she might face, but the fear of losing hope forever is so much stronger than the fear of eating crow and admitting defeat. She presses her foot down harder on the gas pedal. She has to get there. She has to make this right before the damage becomes permanent. Every red light feels like a personal attack from the universe trying to keep her away from her family. Brooke is tapping her fingers on the dashboard, just completely consumed by the memories of everything that led to this exact moment. She thinks about the runway show, the shock of seeing Hope glide down that catwalk, wearing the Hope for the Future diamond, the utter humiliation of being the last person to know about the biggest fashion defection in history. Yes, it hurt. It hurt like hell to be blindsided on live television while 4 million people watched her jaw drop. But why did Hope feel the need to hide it? Why did her daughter feel like she couldn't come to her? Because she knew exactly how Brooke would react. Hope knew Brooke would prioritize Forrester creations over her daughter's happiness and creativity. Brooke created the toxic environment where Hope had to lie just to survive and thrive. It is a bitter pill to swallow. It tastes like ash in her mouth, but she is swallowing it anyway because she is the mother. She has to be the one to bridge the gap and fix the bridge she burned. Pulling up to the massive iron gates of the Spencer estate, Brooke feels a massive wave of nausea wash over her. This place holds so much history, so much pain and passion and betrayal and secrets. And now it is the fortress where her daughter is hiding from her wrath. The gates swing open and she drives up the long, winding driveway. The manicured lawns look perfect. Everything looks perfect on the outside, but inside that house, her family is fractured and bleeding. She parks the car and just sits there for a second with the engine running. Can she do this? Can she really walk in there and admit she was entirely wrong? The Forrester matriarch admitting absolute defeat to the Logans and the Spencers. Ridge is going to be furious when he finds out she came here. Steffi will probably have a stroke and demand she be banned from the building. But right now, Brooke does not care about Ridge. She does not care about Steffi. She only cares about the little blonde girl who used to look up at her like she hung the moon and the stars. She turns off the engine and gets out of the car. Walking up to the front door, she doesn't even knock. She just opens it because she is Brooke Logan and she goes where she wants, when she wants. The scene inside the living room is almost domestic enough to break her heart all over again. Bill is standing by the bar, pouring a drink, looking as smug and victorious as ever. Katie is sitting on the sofa with a fiercely protective arm around Hope. Liam is on the floor playing with little Beth, trying to keep things normal for the baby. They all freeze the second Brooke walks in. The tension in the room instantly skyrockets. You could cut the air with a knife. It is so thick with resentment. Bill looks like he is ready to throw her out himself. Katie stands up, her eyes flashing with that familiar, fierce Logan fire, ready to defend her niece from whatever venom she assumes Brooke is about to spew. Hope just looks tired. So incredibly tired and broken and fragile. Seeing her daughter look so defeated shatters whatever tiny fragment of pride Brooke had left in her body. "What are you doing here, Brooke?" Katie asks. Her voice is cold, ice cold. It is the voice of a woman who is completely done being pushed around by her older sister. Bill takes a sip of his drink and smirks that infuriating smirk. "Yeah, Brooke, come to kick him out of my house too? Because I can promise you that's not going to happen." The old Brooke would have fired back immediately. The old Brooke would have yelled at Bill and told Katie to mind her own business and demanded respect. But the woman standing in the Spencer living room right now is not the old Brooke. She doesn't take the bait. She doesn't raise her voice or point her finger. She just looks at Hope. Her eyes lock onto her daughter's and the tears just start falling all over again. Real, heavy, ugly tears. Not the manipulative tears she has used 1,000 times before to get Ridge to forgive her for some scandal. These are the tears of a mother who knows she messed up on a catastrophic, unforgivable level. "I'm not here to fight," Brooke says. Her voice cracks and breaks on the words. The room goes dead silent. Even Bill stops smirking and puts his glass down. Liam looks up from Beth, his eyes wide with shock. Hope shifts on the sofa, her arms wrapping around herself defensively as if she is bracing for a physical blow. "I came here to apologize." The word hangs in the air like a ghost. Apologize? Brooke Logan doesn't apologize unless she has been caught red-handed doing something terrible. But here she is, standing in the middle of enemy territory, waving a massive white flag and surrendering completely. She takes a slow, shaky step closer to Hope. "I was wrong. I was so, so wrong, Hope. I let my ego and my desperate need to prove my loyalty to Forrester blind me to what really matters in this world. You matter. Your happiness matters. And I punish you for trying to find it." Hope just stares at her in absolute disbelief. She is waiting for the catch. She is waiting for the but that always comes when Brooke gives a speech. "But what?" Hope asks, her voice trembling so hard she can barely get the words out. "But you still think I'm a traitor? But you still think I should grovel to Steffi and beg for my old job back?" Brooke shakes her head frantically, the tears flying off her face. "No, no buts. There is no but, Hope. I was standing in front of my mirror today and I realized what a massive, disgusting hypocrite I am. I remembered what I did to Katie." Brooke turns to look at her sister. Katie's expression softens just a fraction, the shock of hearing Brooke admit her past sins paralyzing her. I remembered how I betrayed you, Katie, how I blew up your marriage because I wanted Bill. I did something truly unforgivable for a man. And yet I had the audacity to treat Hope like a criminal just because she wanted to design clothes somewhere else. It's insane. It's completely insane. And I am so deeply sorry. The admission is huge. It is a seismic shift in the Logan family dynamic that nobody saw coming. Katie lets out a breath she didn't know she was holding. To hear Brooke acknowledge the pain of the past, to hear her explicitly connect her own massive romantic mistakes to Hope's relatively harmless career move, it validates everything Katie has been saying for weeks. Bill actually sets his drink down on the bar and crosses his arms. He doesn't say a word. For once in his loud, obnoxious life, Dollar Bill Spencer is completely speechless. Brooke turns her attention back to Hope. She walks over to the sofa and slowly, carefully sits down next to her daughter. She reaches out and takes Hope's hands in hers. They are cold. Hope's hands are freezing from the stress and the anxiety. Brooke rubs them gently, trying to warm them up, trying to pour all her love and regret and desperation through her fingertips and into her child. I kicked you out of your home, Brooke whispers, the horror of her own actions choking her so hard she can barely breathe. I kicked my daughter and my granddaughter out onto the street because my pride was hurt, because I was embarrassed that I didn't know about your contract with Logan and I looked foolish in front of Ridge and Steffi. I wanted to control you, Hope. I always want to control everything. And when I couldn't control this, I lashed out in the most cruel, vindictive way possible. I am so ashamed of myself. Hope is crying now too. The walls she built up to protect herself from her mother's wrath are crumbling down into dust. She leans into Brooke just a little bit, but it is enough. It is a sign that the door isn't completely closed. It is a sign that the mother-daughter bond hasn't been entirely severed by Brooke's stupidity. I was so scared, Hope sobs, her voice muffled as she buries her face in Brooke's shoulder. I was so scared that I had lost you forever, that you would never look at me the same way again, and that you would always hate me for leaving Forrester. Brooke wraps her arms around Hope and pulls her into a tight, desperate, fierce hug. Never. You will never lose me. I am your mother. Nothing you do, no job you take, no company you work for will ever change that. I love you more than Forrester Creations. I love you more than Ridge's legacy. I love you more than my own pride. It is a massive declaration. Choosing her daughter over Ridge's company is something Brooke has struggled with for years, constantly trying to play peacemaker and failing miserably. But right here, right now, she is making the choice and she means it with every fiber of her being. She is choosing Hope. Liam is smiling now. He knew it. He kept telling Hope that Brooke would come around and see things her way, even when things looked impossibly bleak. He is probably feeling very vindicated right now, sitting on the floor with Beth and watching his fractured family piece themselves back together. Katie walks over and puts a gentle hand on Brooke's shoulder. It is a simple gesture, but it carries so much emotional weight. It is forgiveness. It is solidarity. The Logan sisters are complicated. They fight dirty. They steal from each other. They break each other's hearts over and over again. But at the end of the day, when the chips are down and the tears are falling, they always find a way back to each other. Brooke looks up at Katie and mouths the words, "Thank you. Thank you for protecting my daughter when I was too stupid and angry to do it myself. Thank you for giving her a safe place to land when I threw her to the wolves." This is a brand new chapter. You can feel it in the room, the toxic, suffocating loyalty to Forrester Creations that has dictated Brooke's life for decades is finally cracking and falling away. She is realizing that she doesn't have to be Ridge's perfect soldier. She can be Hope's mother first. She can support her daughter's dreams, even if they are happening at House of Logan. What will Ridge say? Who cares? What will Steffi do? Let her rage. Steffi is already sharpening her knives and preparing to declare a massive legal and personal war on the whole Logan family anyway. But Brooke is ready for it now. She isn't going to fight against her sister and her daughter anymore. She is going to stand with them. She is going to link arms with Katie and Hope and face whatever storm the Forresters send their way. The Logans are reuniting. The cracks that seemed completely irreparable just an hour ago are starting to heal with every tear that falls. As Brooke holds Hope in her arms, she looks around the Spencer living room. It's messy. It's complicated. Bill is still standing there, the architect of so much of their misery, but also the savior of this specific moment because he gave them a roof when Brooke took hers away. Katie is smiling through her tears, looking like the strong, fiercely protective matriarch of her own brand new fashion house. Liam is bouncing Beth on his knee, looking relieved that he doesn't have to navigate a permanent war between his wife and his mother-in-law. This is family. It is a messy, flawed, incredibly human family that makes terrible mistakes, but loves each other fiercely. Brooke realizes that she doesn't need to control them. She just needs to love them and support them and be there when they need her. The apology was just the first step. There will be long, difficult conversations ahead. There will be incredibly awkward moments at fashion shows and press conferences. There will be absolute hell to pay when Ridge finds out Brooke has defected emotionally to the Logan camp, but she is ready. For the first time in a very long time, Brooke Logan's heart is exactly where it belongs. She isn't torn between two families anymore. She knows who she is and she knows who she loves. Just think about the massive implications of this. If Brooke is fully supporting Hope at Logan, the power dynamic in Los Angeles shifts entirely. The Forresters are going to lose their minds. Steffi is going to go on a warpath unlike anything we have ever seen, completely unhinged by the fact that Brooke is no longer bowing down to the Forrester name. And what about Eric? Poor Eric is already feeling betrayed by Donna keeping secrets, and now Brooke is siding with Katie's company. The Forrester patriarch is going to feel completely isolated and betrayed by the women he loves. But that is a problem for tomorrow. Today is about healing. Today is about a mother looking in the mirror, hating what she sees, and actually doing the hard, painful work to change it. Brooke Logan swallowed her massive pride, faced her demons, admitted her past hypocrisy, and brought her family back from the absolute brink of destruction. And honestly, we love to see it. We absolutely love to see character growth on this show. The drama is far from over, but for right now, the Logans are standing united, and Los Angeles better watch out.